I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with Larry Ellington. He is the eloquent author behind a book called Echoes of Nature. It is a poetic tribute to the serenity and beauty of the natural world. Drawing from his profound love for the outdoors, the author captivates readers with verses that resonate from the heart and capture the essence of nature's art. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing this wonderful book, Echoes of Nature. Larry, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. Now, I understand you're a war veteran and your love for writing poetry began right after coming home from the war, right?
Correct, yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I served in Vietnam from 1967 to 1968, and in the United States Air Force at a little base in Vietnam called Pleiku, which is in the Central Highlands. Anyway, I was there for 7 months, and then I went to Nakhon Phanom, Thailand for the remainder of my tour. When I came home, while I was in Vietnam, my girlfriend got pregnant, so I got to leave and everything, went back home and married her and then came back. But when I got out of here, I grew up in Peoria, Illinois. But when I got back to the States, I moved to Mesa, Arizona, where she lived. So,
Gotcha. And you started writing poetry at that point when you got back to the States from Thailand and Vietnam?
Yeah, probably about a year or two after I got back.
Gotcha.
Not right away, but shortly after I got back.
Now, your book, Echoes of Nature, is that a compilation of the poems you've written over the years or poems you wrote specifically for this book? Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind Echoes of Nature.
Yeah, I wrote several poems, many of them about nature. Then I was talking to my therapist. I was talking to my therapist and showed her my poems, and she loved them and thought I should make a book. So I decided to get them published. But the books I wrote, most of the poems I wrote back in those days. But then, after several years of not doing anything, I started writing poems again. So.
Great. Now, of all the poems in Echoes of Nature, do you have a favorite?
Yes, of course. It's Nature's Friend is my favorite. Nature's Friend.
Tell us a little bit about that poem. Do you remember it? Is it memorized, or would you?
Yeah, pretty much. I wrote a poem one wintry night for all the world to see. I let them feel the cold, crisp air and see the barren tree. I had them walk down icy paths and see the falling snow. I brought a crackling fire to them, a warmth of amber glow. I had them hear howling wind and okay. I'm sorry.
I know we're putting you on the spot, but you did a great job, and it is a lovely poem. It really does paint a picture of vivid imagery of this very frosty, cold night. Of course, you're very well acquainted with them living in Illinois, that's for sure. So nature and being out in the cold and the snow and the ice. I mean, I love winter. It's a love-hate relationship. I love it, but it's really uncomfortable at times, but there's really, in many ways, no more beautiful season than a frosty, cold, icy winter, don't you think?
Yeah, you got that right. And I love the fact that I can complain about it all I want to.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
yeah,
But
I've got a lot of my. I go out. I usually go out very early in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, to get out into nature, and where I can find a lot of animals out at that time that wouldn't be out at later on in the day, And so I've got a lot of pictures of like deer and other types of animals. Big one here is sandhill cranes.
mm,
We have a lot. We have a regular um, family of sandhill cranes that come back here every year, and got to know them really well. I love them.
yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. And my dogs get me up at about 5:30 in the morning. And when they get me out of my warm bed in the morning, I kind of curse them. But then I step outside and it really is beautiful. The light is
Yes, it
just
is.
coming up. It's
The
cold,
air
it's
is so
crisp.
clean.
What's that?
The air is so clean and
Yeah,
pure. Just
yeah.
a
So
beautiful time of the day.
exactly. So it's a mixed blessing. I don't like getting up that early. My dogs
Yeah.
make me, but then I'm glad they did. That's for sure. In your poetry, you emphasize the importance of perceiving nature with your heart, not just your eyes. Tell
Right.
us a little bit about this deeper connection that you seek.
Okay. My philosophy on that is that nature does all the work. All I do is put it on paper. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
But I've loved nature for so long, so for so many years. I'm 76 years old now, or 76 years young, I should say.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I have seen a lot in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. Well, poetry seems like the right medium to express the complex emotions that one has when witnessing the beauty of nature, because it
yeah,
seems like plain prose doesn't quite do it, but to put it into
right.
poetry kind of elevates the language up a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah. To me, it's the challenge of being able to put a message on paper, but put it not always rhyme, but in a
Like
tempo.
a
I guess I'm trying to say, yeah,
like a meter or a verse or a
yeah,
rhythm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Rhythm. That's it. That's it.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you really have captured that. Also, you have a line, nature is a naturalistic state of mind. Tell me about that.
Uh, it's kind of along the same lines that nature, and when you think of nature, you don't just, like I said, you don't just see nature, you feel it.
Mhm.
That's what I mean by a naturalistic state of mind. You put yourself in that state of mind when you're out in the nature. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, to appreciate nature, like you said, you have to spend time in it. And finding the right time is important. Certainly, sunrise and dawn is a great time.
mhm.
Sunset is a great time, particularly because of the light. It's so wonderful to see the
Mhm.
light coming in at an angle, and it's warming but not too warm. It's it's a lot to witness. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to appreciate and a lot to love.
Yeah, I have a lot of sunrise pictures that many of them are very beautiful pictures, and they can be very different depending on the cloud formations and that type of thing. So
What's your favorite season?
I would say fall.
Mm.
Yeah, fall is probably my favorite season.
Yeah, I guess you get some pretty good foliage there in Illinois this time of year.
Yeah,
Yeah, some bright red maples and some yellow
well,
hickories and
yeah. Like I said in one of my poems, it's like uh, in the fall, or in the spring, nearly everything comes back to life again.
hmm.
But yeah, I meant spring.
Spring's
Yeah,
your
spring
favorite
is my
season?
favorite. I
Okay.
don't know what
Okay. Well, spring is when everything is coming back to life and you get those beautiful soft colors of green until
Yeah.
they darken into the summer colors. Um, Fall for me is kind of like nature's last hurrah. It wants to put on one last
Yeah.
beautiful show
Yeah.
with the bright colors. And then, of course, the crisp, sparkling, white, icy winters that are hard on the skin, hard on the feet, can be hard on the back if you happen to slip and fall, but are certainly spectacular to witness, that's for sure. Well, Larry, you have written a wonderful book. It is called Echoes of Nature. It is a poetic tribute to the serenity and the beauty of the natural world. This is a book worth picking up. You want to read it as a daily affirmation, as a way to reflect upon all of God's creations around you. It is quite a beautiful collection of poetry. Larry, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. I'm glad you had me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.